South Florida dating standards are so insane. One time, one of my girlfriends went out on a date with this guy, and usually on the first date, a guy brings a gift, and he brought her a keychain. So she got up and walked away. Like, she was so offended. If a guy doesn't call an Uber Black, then it's not gonna happen. I had a guy call me just a regular Uber, and the car pulled up and I saw it, and I just went back up to my apartment. If a guy wants the girl to come and visit him, then he needs to book a first class ticket and have a hotel room, like a separate room for her. When a guy says that he wants to take a girl to brunch, it usually means that they'll go shopping afterwards.
This gold digger from Miami really thinks she's something. And even more so for a 36-year-old woman who still thinks she's 23 to be making that many demands. That's why you see the money guys in Miami heading to other, calmer states to find women with better values. Because in Miami, this gold digger acts like she's the last Coca-Cola in the desert. Today we're bringing you modern women with high standards that are keeping them single. But before we get started, throw us a like and leave us a comment. Your support is what keeps this content growing. Let's get into it.
Nice guys are the worst guys to date. Much rather date a guy who has a reputation of being an asshole. Nice guys don't have boundaries. They don't know how to say no to people. Guys care so much about what everyone collectively thinks of them. They care so much about their reputation. They will throw their partner, the people closest to them, under the bus. Nice guys are only nice in public. Behind closed doors, they take advantage of their partners. I had to learn this the hard way. I have only ever dated one nice guy. When I tell you that we could have been at a dinner party and one of his friends could have been like, "You're a nasty slut," right to me, and he would have just sat there and taken it and not cared and not started conflict. That's a nice guy. He wants to be nice to everybody, which means that he's loyal to no one. Be out at a bar and a woman could like walk over and sit on his lap. He wouldn't tell her to get off because that would be rude to her. Nice guys will always burn the people closest to them so that they can maintain appearances to random strangers. It makes no sense, but that's a nice guy. Avoid at all costs.
Your standards are too dang high.
Tatum, this is like
That's
what
exactly
you
what the problem is.
talking to me about being late today. This is exactly what I felt.
Standards are too high. And if you keep your standards this high, you're never going to find someone that you like. You're going to be 35 years old, and guess what? The same guys you're going to be chasing after, they're going to find chicks 10 years younger than you, and they're going to go after them. It's just going to happen.
Okay.
So you got to lower your standards.
I think that's the worst advice ever.
Really?
Yes.
Well, mine.
Well,
you can go ahead and do that in fucking 15 years and see if you get married.
Okay.
Look, ladies, if you really have high standards, you will never have to tell a man. He will already intuitively know. Men can pick up on the fact whether or not women are within their standards fairly quickly. Take it from me, there's zero reason for you to shout your boundaries to the world. A woman with high standards carries herself with such a poise, and she has this energy that just speaks for itself. It's why I said men will just know intuitively. The girl who's always shouting about how she has such high standards and will never let a man do this or never let a man do that or break this or whatever the heck it is usually the first to break her own boundaries. We all know that girl. A high-value woman and a woman with high standards will not have to tell a man what he did wrong. She will simply leave. The need to chase a man when he pulls away absolutely repulses her. It's not a green light for her to try and prove her self-worth. So if you ever feel like you have to ask a man for princess treatment, you're not acting like a princess. So be about your business. If he doesn't approach you, it's because he knows that you aren't within his reach. And that's fine because another man will step up to the plate. Just keep doing you.
The first woman is the typical one who's always looking for an excuse to keep messing around with chads. In her whole life, only one decent guy came along, and she gets mad at him because he wasn't out there fighting battles for her, while the jerks disrespect everyone, including her. And that's exactly the one she likes. A completely backwards world. The second man gave her solid advice. Just compare him to the woman in the third video. She doesn't chase. There's always going to be another man. The problem is she's already past 33 and she's still out looking for that next man. I'm sure along the way she crossed paths with plenty of men she could have built a life with. But like always, her standards are so high there's always something better out there. That road leads you to an endless search for that top 10% man who isn't interested in women like you.
There's actually no such thing as a high standard as long as you can deliver on it yourself. If you can meet those same standards in your own life, emotionally, physically, mentally, financially, then that's not a high standard for you. That's just your standard. The issue happens when there's a disconnect. If you're demanding the world and not showing up for yourself in the same ways, then it creates an imbalance. And vice versa. If you're delivering so much energy, effort, and value and your standards are low, then that's a problem as well. The key here is alignment. And I hate to say this, but your standards need to reflect what you bring to the table. Luckily, I think us girlies bring a lot more to the table than the men do. But here's where it gets tricky. A lot of people don't actually know what they bring to the table. Studies show that over 70% of women underestimate their skills and abilities in both personal and professional settings, which means that they tend to set lower standards, not because that's what they deserve, but because they don't realize their worth. Before you set standards in a relationship, check on your own self-perception. If your standards feel too high, ask yourself, are they actually too high, or have you just been conditioned to believe that you deserve less? When your self-worth rises, your standards naturally adjust to match it, and that's when you can start attracting the relationships you deserve.
That sounds real nice as a speech you tell yourself, but it doesn't work in real life. That idealized perfect partner doesn't exist. Just think about it. Why do you think there are so many single professional women out there? Because those women take up so much space in their own lives that a man can't find any room to just be himself. Those women are the man they're out here looking for. So they hold themselves to this intense standard, and then they apply that same standard to the man, which ends up exhausting him, turning into a headache and a constant source of stress until he walks out the door toward a simpler woman.
The men in my comment section are so mad that I have high standards as a single mom. Sir, did you not know how low my standards were when I was not a single mom? For example, when I was in a relationship with my ex-husband, when he proposed to me in his bedroom. Now that I think about it, I'm like, that is low standard shit. At that time, I was 21. I could care less. I love this man. That was red flag number 1. Red flag number 2 is I posted my engagement ring on Facebook and tagged him so my friends and family can see. Tell me why his ex-girlfriend's friend comments on my picture and says, wasn't that your engagement ring? And then they go back and forth in my comment section. When I tell you guys, I was livid. Like I was this close to leaving this man, and I could have, but somehow he convinced me that that was not the ring. And then his grandmother stepped in and said that that was her ring, that she was trying to pass it down to the family. And then his mom stepped in later on and got me a ring just for me. Like, sir, if you didn't have the money to propose to me to at least a ring that I liked from like Walmart or something, why propose to me at all? So when you are mad that single moms are not supposed to have high standards, no, we didn't have high standards before. And now that we have kids, of course we're going to have high standards.
Let me see if I've got this right. The man you gave your youth to, and a child, which is the most a woman can give a man, you didn't demand that much from him because you liked him, because he was the man you loved. But the next man? You want to demand even more from him. Except now you're showing up to the relationship with more baggage and older. That's why they say a woman looks for the man she wants to have a child with. And once she has that child, she goes looking for a good father in the second man, with the whole, a father is the one who raises, not the one who conceives speech. That's exactly why men don't want to deal with single mothers.
Women.
If you want to become extremely rich as a woman, you have to stop fucking these men. Excuse my French. But have you ever noticed how some of the brokest women are boy crazy and how some of the most successful women are single? And it's not because men don't like successful women. It's because women who built an empire for themselves have options, only accept the best, and know the value of discernment in their focus. When you're single as a woman, you have the most energy in your life to give your all to you, to build up your finances, your health, your confidence, your style. When you get a partner, that is a full-time job. And I'm not saying relationships are bad, but they take a lot of work and energy and waste your time if it's with the wrong person. If you want to be your most powerful, embodied, abundant self, you need to become well paid first. And in order to do that, you should not be dating when you're broke as a woman. You should be building yourself an asset, a business, a brand. You should be building a name for yourself, something you don't have to wait for someone else to give you. So stop fucking these men and get to work.
And that's how the wall keeps collecting. Because every one of them thinks a degree, a job, or money is what a man is looking for in a woman, when the reality is that what a man is looking for is what she can do for him, her acts of service, her support, her contribution to the life they're both building. A man is not looking for a woman bringing masculine energy into the relationship. We're throwing that out. We don't want the boss girl. We want the sweet girl who works at the coffee shop and who could one day be a great mother with feminine energy.
He will make it his full-time job to destroy you if he is not happy with himself and where he is in his career and how he stands financially. Breeding ground for destruction. A lot of what makes up a man's identity is how much success he's had in life and where he is financially in opposition to his friends, to his peers, and also with you if you're his partner. He will begin to see you as competition and he will try to dim the light of your success. And of course, there are exceptions to the rule. Of course, there are men, like 1 out of 100, that won't be insecure about you being that girl, but the rest of them, they can't handle it. They will make it their full-time job to destroy you, to belittle you, to not celebrate you when you win, to make things about themselves, to nitpick, and eventually gets to the point where you feel like you can't even share your wins. And it will also begin to affect different parts of your relationship, like your intimacy, among other things. I know people's feathers get ruffled when we talk about these things and when we say we have a certain expectation of a man to have a certain level of income, and it's because some of us have experienced that we need someone to be at our level or higher, not just por interesada, but because we know what happens when we date someone or have a long-term relationship with someone who isn't at our level and capacity financially, and it's not fun. And so many people are so sensitive to the conversation about money because it's not just about money. What about love? And it's like, yeah, but have you lived those other things? Because I have, and I'm good. Only a dummy wouldn't learn from their L's.
We're living in a time where unfortunately both men and women have to work to have a decent life in this economy. Most men aren't bothered by their woman succeeding. What bothers them is the change in her. They're bothered by the contempt toward the man once she starts earning more. They're bothered when she starts comparing them to her friends' husbands. They're bothered because everything he does for her always seems like it's never enough. It's not your success, it's your attitude. But y'all aren't ready for that conversation. That's why every woman who feels like she's leveling up, even just a little bit more than her husband, wants to leave him because she feels empowered and decides that man is beneath her. It's a never-ending story. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. Why do women devalue the good guy and chase the one who treats them badly? Why does the high standards woman almost always end up alone and then blames men for it? If you liked the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. Your support means a lot to us and keeps us motivated to keep creating more content. Stay tuned for the next video from the wall.